We grew up watching clips of stepovers on concrete and barefoot volleys on the beach. But when those yellow shirts step onto the manicured grass of a World Cup quarterfinal, the chaos of the street gives way to rigid, high-stakes geometry. It is tempting to look at a highlight reel of Brazil's greatest goals and see uncoachable magic. The reality is far more clinical. Those iconic moments are the direct result of highly optimized tactical execution. Take Pele. He serves as the historical face of this myth, the patron saint of improvisational genius. But if you look closely at the archive of goals from his era, you find a calculated, repeatable system. If you want to build an elite attack for your own squad, you have to stop trying to capture lightning in a bottle. Instead, fluidity is a specific structural investment. This chart categorizes the historical archive of Brazil's greatest goals into 3 distinct operational buckets. Another 30% are born from rapid counterattacks. The remaining 40% rely on individual isolation or set pieces. Notice how distinct these paths are. Because each system requires completely different player profiles, a team cannot mathematically optimize for all 3 at the same time. Your challenge as a manager is deciding which of these 3 blueprints fits the actual personnel you have on your roster. Let's start with Blueprint 1, the collective orchestration. The legendary 1970 squad, captained by Carlos Alberto, is the textbook example of this approach. To run this system, you need one absolute non-negotiable: a flawless technical baseline. Every single player on the pitch, including your center backs, must possess elite ball control. This pitch map shows the mechanics of the 1970 approach. You deploy a 10-man passing network, utilizing wide spacing to patiently weave patterns. The goal is to deliberately shift the defense side to side, stretching their block over long periods of possession. Do this correctly, and the expected outcome is a highly efficient, close-range shot that gives the goalkeeper 0 chance. Here is the severe trade-off. This slow buildup is incredibly vulnerable to modern, aggressive pressing systems. A single misplaced pass from a technically inferior player collapses your entire structure. Perfecting that spatial awareness demands thousands of hours on the training ground. The collective orchestration is beautiful, but it is highly brittle. It is a luxury system reserved exclusively for generational squads with 0 technical weaklings. That brings us to Blueprint 2, the transitional strike. This shifts away from possession dominance toward ruthless pragmatism, perfectly embodied by Romario in 1994. The core tactical input here is patience without the ball. You must be willing to absorb defensive pressure and intentionally play on the counter. This diagram illustrates the necessary mechanic. You are relying on forwards with elite situational awareness to exploit the offside rule, moving from a passive, offside position to an active one, the precise moment the ball is played. If your forward times this transition perfectly within that narrow window, they legally shatter the opponent's defensive line. The result is a devastating high-speed break. You consistently manufacture 2-on-1 numerical advantages against an isolated goalkeeper. The cost? You sacrifice aesthetic dominance. You will lose the possession metrics, and you concede control of the game's overall tempo to your opponent. But by trading beauty for clinical efficiency, the transitional strike becomes the highest ROI system available for pragmatic or outmatched squads. Finally, Blueprint 3, the isolation and specialist power. This era trades collective systems for singular talent, anchored today by players like Neymar Jr. The tactical input is simple. You intentionally funnel the ball to a generational talent in a tight space, granting them a free role to operate entirely outside your team's rigid structure. Look at this tactical map. The entire team structure is designed to manufacture one-on-one isolations on the wing, bypassing the need for complex passing networks. When open play structures fail entirely, this blueprint relies on dead ball situations. We see direct shot paths over a defensive wall from 30 yards out. The value of this system is its ability to break open completely deadlocked games with uncoachable acrobatics or pure shot power. The trade-off is a reliance on low-percentage math. 30-yard swerving strikes and overhead kicks have an incredibly high rate of failure. Relying on an isolation specialist is a high-variance gamble. Often, it serves to mask underlying systemic dysfunctions within the rest of your starting 11. So, how do you choose? This diagram is the attacking optimization map, a strict decision-making tool for squad builders to apply these historical blueprints. Node 1 asks the first critical question: does your squad possess elite technical ability across all 11 positions? If yes, invest the heavy training time required for Blueprint 1, the collective orchestration. If no, you drop down the chain. Node 2 asks, do you possess a singular generational mismatch player? If the answer is yes, you accept the high variance and run Blueprint 3, the isolation specialist. If the answer is no, your mathematical default must be Blueprint 2, the transitional strike. If you lack world-class cohesion across your roster, do not attempt to emulate the 1970 squad. You will leak goals. Instead, optimize for counterattacks and drill the offside trap. If you have an isolation superstar, the optimal mathematical choice is to sacrifice systemic predictability to ensure they get the ball in space. Even the most romanticized national teams in history are strictly constrained by the actual profiles of the 11 men on the pitch. You always face a trade-off between the safety of systemic reliability and the match-winning power of individual variants. The most effective attacking philosophies share one trait: the ruthless, objective optimization of the specific tools you have at your disposal.